And Trump's threat to levy financial sanctions on Russia has put the spotlight on the two largest consumers of Russian crude oil, that's India and China. NATO chief Mark Rutte joined the chorus against buyers of Russian exports. Markets, though, are not concerned about any supply disruption. Cheap Russian oil flows to Asia have jumped after the Ukraine war. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in early 2022, China's imports of cheap oil from Moscow have increased. India has also become a major buyer of Russian oil, with the country purchasing over a third of its oil from OPEC plus producers. Trump said secondary tariffs of 100% will be imposed in 50 days, as I mentioned earlier, unless Moscow halts its aggression. But the US president did not give any specifics going forward. US Ambassador to NATO Matt Whitaker, said that this measure essentially imposes sanctions on countries that purchase oil from Russia. NATO chief Mark Rutte warned that countries could be hit very hard by secondary sanctions if they continue to do business with Russia, and that brings China and India in the US-Russia crosshairs as well.
If you are the president of China, or the prime minister of India, or the president of Brazil, and you're still trading with the Russians, that if this guy in Moscow doesn't get serious about peace talks, I will slam secondary sanctions on you of 100%.
Now, Russian flows to India reached 2.1 million barrels per day in June. That's the largest monthly intake in nearly a year. This figure is close to the record set in May 2023. China's purchases haven't accelerated at the same pace, but have been consistently above 1 million barrels a day since the war. However, even if the supply from Russia cut off, India and China could still plug the gap with West Asian suppliers. Barrels from other OPEC members in Africa could help plug the gap of lost Russian supply, but that could become more expensive. Imports from Saudi Arabia in May were $5 a barrel higher than those from Russia, while shipments from Iraq were about 50 cents more expensive.